good as we're gonna get. Ready? Ready to go? We are recording.
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
Are you ready? I've been waiting.
You've been waiting for what?
Ah! ASMR. I fucking don't know what week of quarantine it is.
It's been too long. And it's gonna stay. Because people are dumb as fuck out there.
It's been a month.
For most people, it's been about a month and a half or a month.
Happy month and a half of quarantine.
Really just depends on the type of job that people had beforehand.
Touche. Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Hello.
How y'all doing? Welcome to extra super special edition of We Don't Know What Day It Is because it's quarantine.
Right?
So we have a podcast. So if you hear giggles behind, mostly me, I apologize.
Yeah, there's no one going to be giggling behind me unless it's a ghost.
Unless it's a ghost. Lucky. I've just got people giggling.
I'm like, I don't even have ghosts in my house. So.
Lucky.
Yeah, I get to sleep peacefully.
God, I wonder what's like. So, should we do an introduction? Do we still do that?
We should.
We should. If you guys are here, thank you. You're listening to Tipsy Mysteries.
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo. This is our fun podcast, super awesome explosion time show where we, your hosts, I'm Kate.
And I'm V.
We're going to tell you about all things mysteries, cryptids, true crime, paranormal, conspiracies.
Anything and everything that's a little bit creepy, and your friends are like concerned whenever you're like, hey, let me tell you about this crazy thing I found out about. We're your girls.
We're your girls. We're your ghouls.
We're your ghouls for that.
Your ghouls. This is episode 20.
Fuck.
Me too, buddy.
For real?
Yeah. I had to double check today. Because last week was the, not last week, week before, last episode, with Queen Mary and what did you do your story on? Oh my god, I feel so bad. I remember the one before that was Shanti Devi and Harold the Doll. What was it on?
BTK.
BTK. Oh shit, that's right. Oof. Maybe I just pushed it all down. Oof.
Yeah, because that boy, he was thirsty for the authority.
Was thirsty. This is also our second episode of... if you guys hear whispering, I'm sorry. I can't control it at this point. It's our second episode of us also screen recording, so that should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, you're just seeing me text on my phone. Like, yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
If y'all like to watch stuff, and then here we are. Boom,
yeah.
shakalaka. There we are. How's your quarantine week been?
I didn't know it's been like 2 weeks since we last recorded. I thought it was like 5 days.
Me too. Because we've both been real busy playing Animal Crossing. V, tell everyone your favorite Animal Crossing villagers. It's very important information. Matter of national security. I need to know.
National security?
At this point, yes.
So I might have spent like $30 to make sure I get Marshall, but
Marshall!
He's so good. He's so precious. I want to protect him with everything in my heart and soul. But I think Bill, my little red duck, he's
Bill's
the one who
good.
Truly, like, anytime
He's
I get
boy.
anything that's slightly sporty, I'm like, I gotta give this to my boy. I give him all the fruits, all the bugs, all the fish he wants.
Because he deserves it.
I love him. I love my jock boys and my smug ones.
They're so good. Yeah, sorry. If y'all hear shit in the background, it's just Abby and Alex, my sister and Alex, having fun quarantine times.
Just my sister and my Alex. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Essentially. Okay, so you said Marshall and Bill.
Mm-hmm. And Tiffany, she's
Tiffany,
amazing.
that's
I've given
true.
her so many like dresses because I'm like, she deserves everything.
I gave her the orange umbrella,
Aw.
and she looks so cute. Yeah, Tiffany's also high on my list. I also love with all my heart Coco. Fucking love Coco.
Coco's so good.
She's so cute. If you guys only want to listen to the audio version, I completely understand. But for this to have full comedic effect, I think y'all want to take advantage of the screen recording we're doing. I'm currently getting poked with a fork.
It's very true, you are.
I didn't think 2020 would be like this.
I was supposed to go see Dance Gavin Dance tomorrow, but it's not. Yeah, 2020 is not going the way I wanted.
No.
Because I was supposed to see Dance Gavin Dance. You're supposed to be in California, aren't you?
God damn, you're right.
And I was supposed to go to California in 2 weeks.
Damn. Passage of time. What is... It doesn't exist at this point. But yeah, my favorite Animal Crossing is, Tiffany, Coco, and Kit Kat.
Yes.
I want Kit Kat so bad. Yeah,
is
so
he not in your town yet? Not on your island?
Not on my island yet. So if y'all are playing AC, you should hit us up. If y'all need some shit, hit us up.
Yeah.
My island's not quite done, but I'll let you know when it is. Getting there.
I'm like, I'm never gonna get there. I don't care about making my island pretty. I'm like, I'm just here to like befriend everyone.
Yeah, so if y'all want to be friends with us in Animal Crossing, hit us up. Well, with that, I'm very, very excited to tell you my story today. It is so weird. Oh my god.
I got the 2 coins.
What were you thinking about when you pulled that?
I don't know. I'm just like, I kind of want to just like...
V got her own tarot deck. It's so cute.
It's very cute. It's the Kawaii tarot cards. They're on Amazon. I can't remember how much it was because I bought a bunch of other stuff with it too.
Big mood. So if y'all want to do like fun tarot hangouts, I'd be so down. Fun.
I need to practice because like I like having my cards out when I'm having conversations, especially if I don't know, like if we're talking about like a lot of different issues and things going on, and see what the cards bring out randomly throughout that conversation. Like, hey, shut up, listen to this.
Then I'll have you shuffle them while I'm telling you my story. So I again, you know, I love our guessing game every week. I look forward to it every time. I wonder if you can guess this one. You might remember this one.
I might remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I'm guessing, is it a ghost paranormal story?
Not as much paranormal, more of a mystery per se.
Is it like kind of almost like it started out with like a missing person kind of situation, or no?
Missing persons?
How did it...
So,
tell me what it is, because I'm like, I don't know where that missing person
back to 20. Think back to 2014. What happened in 2014?
Is it
recently?
Recently in 2014, I would say the Madeleine McCann story.
Oh no, actually, good guess.
That was like 2011, I think.
Fair.
No, you said persons.
Persons. Quite a few.
I want to say it was like in... Why do I think of like mountains? No. I want to say like wilderness almost, like as if they were like out camping.
Not quite. Also a good guess. Well, today, my dear friend, cabins. My dear listeners, I'm going to tell you about Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
Oh!
This one is so fucking weird. Oh my god.
Ooh.
I woke up in a cold sweat and I was thinking about this. I'm like, oh my god, that was a weird ass case. And the more it was one where the more I looked into it, the weirder it got. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe things will fall into place. No. No. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. So
Okay.
I don't know if you remember when this was actually going on back in 2014 or not.
Girl, you act like I know what 24, like, I was 22, I think.
Because Alex remembered.
I was for sure drunk the whole year. I don't remember.
Okay, fair. Well, yes, this was back in 2014, which just makes it even weirder. Because, so, I'm just, the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to kind of give you the lowdown, and then for it to make sense, I'm going to give you the timeline so you can see where things went wrong. And so I tried to organize it as best I could so I could kind of lay it out. It would make the most sense.
Okay.
So, without further ado, are you ready to hear about this fucking weird-ass mystery?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Now.
I'm so ready.
So, also known as MH370, this was a scheduled international passenger flight operated by Malaysian Airlines that disappeared on March 8th, 2014. So, last month was the anniversary, which is crazy to me. So
6 years. Wow.
Weird, huh? So, disappeared while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport to its destination, Beijing Capital International Airport. So, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
This
is too far of a distance.
Not too bad. So, this is considered one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. As you can guess. That's fucking weird. So, the designator for Malaysian Airlines is MH, and the flight number is 370. That's why it's MH370.
Yeah.
In case you wanted to know. For fun. So, Farki Hamad, he was the first officer and was flying the plane. He was 27 years old. This was a training flight for him, and it was the last one that he was going to do before he was fully certified.
Oh, no.
So there's two pilots. This is the first one. Second one, who was training him, was the pilot in command, and he was named Zahir Ahmad Shah. He was 53. He was one of the more senior captains at Malaysian Airlines. Like, he'd been flying forever. He was skilled. He knew what he was doing. He was married, and he had 3 adult children, and his Empress reversed. Ooh.
Interesting. But keep going.
So, interestingly enough, in his house, he had installed an elaborate Microsoft flight simulator. Give me your feet. So, in his house, he had essentially it was just a flight simulator machine, which are bigger. If you've been a pilot for that long, it makes sense to have it. He flew it frequently, and he often posted online about his hobby, just on forums. So he's really into that.
Yeah.
So back to the flight itself. In the cabin were 10 flight attendants. All of them were Malaysian. And there were 227 passengers to care for, including 5 children. I'm sorry. Most of the passengers were Chinese. And they were actually coming back from what's the word for Chinese calligraphy? Or is this... It's that specialty art. You know what I'm talking about. Or is it, I think calligraphers. I think it's just calligraphers. Anyway, a lot of them were actually coming back from a calligraphy convention because they were like top of the fucking rank in that world, which is crazy. Anyway, so most of them are from there. The rest, 38 were Malaysian, and the others came from Indonesia, Australia, India, France, the United States, Iran, Ukraine, Canada, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Russia, and Taiwan. So, again, this is 227 people plus the 12 for crew and attendants.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking people.
Staff and crew.
So, the plane itself was a Boeing 777 that had been flying for 12 years. So, it was nowhere near retirement. Like, these things fly for at least 25. So,
yeah.
Experience, everything's good. It had no record of any major accidents, though there was a minor one that happened back in August of 2012. The plane, essentially, it was landing on the runway, and there was a miscommunication. And so what happened is as it's landing, it ended up kind of grazing one of the other planes that was already on the runway. And this resulted in the Boeing 777 being damaged on its right wing. So no one was injured. It was just really minor. They chalked it up as it was an accident, essentially.
Yeah.
So just remember that. The right wing was damaged, but it was repaired. So plane is perfectly fine. So by all accounts, this was supposed to be a normal flight. Everything was routine. Everything was in order. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah. And it was just supposed to be a 5-hour and 45-minute journey. So, and it had made this same route. It'd done that hundreds of times.
Seems like a very common route. Yeah.
Exactly. It was just standard international flight. It was a red eye. It was just normal. Fun fact. Statistically, you are more likely to be struck by lightning than to have a mishap in a Boeing 777. So this thing's like the fucking Titanic of the sky.
It's crazy.
Like, it's a huge ass plane. Again, 227 people. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What was the last card you drew?
It was, I believe, the 8 of Wands reversed. Pacing yourself, delay, or being overly busy. Interesting.
Well, are you ready to take me through? Are you ready for me to take you through the timeline?
Yes.
Cool. So, 12:41 a.m. takeoff. All tracking systems are working as the Boeing 777 takes off from Kuala Lumpur and is heading for Beijing. All good. 12:50 a.m. The plane receives its first handoff and switches to a new frequency in order to be in communication with the Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Everything's working perfectly for the next half hour. The plane is in constant contact with air traffic control. And so essentially what the handoff means is that whenever a plane is entering another country's airspace, what happens is that they have to have what's called a handoff from their air traffic control to the next country's air traffic control. Yeah. And this can happen like multiple times throughout a flight. That's completely normal.
Yeah. It's all good. It's kind of like, because you're kind of pretty much getting out of range of where your air traffic control from where you came from can actually make sure like that you're being safe and that everything's fine.
Exactly.
So that makes sense that you have to do a lot of handoffs.
Yeah, so pilots are completely used to this. They tell you what frequency to change, you change to it. It's actually really cute. So your air traffic control will say good night, and then the one you're transferring to will say good morning.
Oh.
Right? I was like, oh, that's so cute. Love that. So again, that was at 12:50. Next 30 minutes, everything's fine. 1:19 a.m. This is the last transmission. The plane is leaving Malaysian airspace and entering into Vietnamese airspace. And they're given the next handoff. The pilots are instructed to switch their frequency to Vietnamese air control, to which they responded, quote, "All right, good night." They sounded perfectly normal. Everything was fine. These were the final words from the cockpit.
Oh.
So the pilots...
Like 30 minutes after... Like, they just did another handoff, and 30 minutes later, they're going to the Vietnamese.
Having their next handoff.
Air traffic. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Are you okay?
I lost my pop mic. 1 sec.
You're fine. Like, I attached mine to my ashtray for my incenses.
We're professionals here.
Yes.
Okay, so.
We know what we're doing.
Do you guys believe us? Okay, it's fine.
Don't do it. Okay.
So they're like, hey, change over this frequency. And they're like, okay, sounds good. Good night. Everything's fine.
But it's not.
Beginning of the end, my friend. So again, that was at 1:19. The pilots never switched their frequency, and they were in what is called a black spot. And that's just when the plane has no communication with air traffic control. Usually this happens for like a second as you're doing the handoff.
Yeah. While you're like switching it through, yeah.
Exactly, but it didn't stop, so that was spooky. So at 1:21 a.m., a few minutes later, So a few minutes passed, but MH370 never appeared on Vietnamese radar. So their air traffic control tried to make contact with the plane. Like, they're like, did they just not switch the frequency? What's going on? So they're trying to get into contact.
Mm-hmm.
But they were unable. And, so they were unable because it wasn't on their frequency. So they couldn't do much. It was as if the plane had just vanished into thin air. It was weird. So the next thing you need to know is about the transponders. And this is just in every single plane.
Mm-hmm.
They basically these kind of boxes in every plane. They send electronic messages from the plane to radar systems about the flight number, altitude, speed, and heading, just information that you need to know if you're working air traffic control.
Logging everything pretty much so then someone else can read it and make sure things are fine.
Exactly. And so because of this, these transponders are absolutely mandatory on every single plane, and pilots are taught that you do not turn these off. They are to remain on. And like, let's say you do need to turn it off, you have to like message air traffic control and get permission first. Like it's a huge fucking violation. Like, you keep those on. And so them not showing up on the Vietnamese radar means the transmitter's off. Transponder's off. Not a good sign.
Yeah.
This thing of being online is off. Offline is just unheard of. So this is where it gets weird. Are you ready? So,
yes.
The moment
Shuffled harder.
So the moment that communication dropped between MH370 and the Malaysian air traffic control, the plane began to veer off course about 30 degrees to the right. And so Malaysian air traffic control, they could still see the plane on their radar, but the Vietnamese one could not.
Okay.
And so this new path took the plane away from Vietnam and out towards the South China Sea. So, again, only Malaysia was able to see this change.
Okay.
Vietnam's still like, where y'all at? Y'all still coming? What's going on? So at 1:21, the plane's transponder stops communicating. So Malaysian Airlines, their air traffic control, they also lose it. It's gone. It's off the radar. This is bizarre because they lost 2 systems within 2 minutes. That doesn't fucking happen. So
it seems like they'd have all those systems like as a fail-proof to make sure that they can still track the plane too.
Oh, just you wait. It gets weirder. Title of this episode. It gets fucking weirder. Because hold on to your panels. So 1:22 a.m. A minute fucking later. So as you could have guessed, there is a third way that they are able to track planes. And this is through the ACARS system, or the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System. Again, another pretty standard thing. It's in all planes. This is a digital data link system for short messages between aircraft and ground stations. And it, again, just reports cabin pressure, how much fuel is being used. There are 2 of them on each plane, one in the cabin area and one in the cockpit area with the pilots. And it transfers data. Like, okay, how fast are they going? Are they using too much fuel? Are they using too less? Etc. And so at 1:21 a.m., both ACAR boxes had reported that everything was completely normal and that the plane and its speed were fine. Then at 1:22, a minute later, both of them went offline. Yeah. So both are gone. So like the transmitter's off.
So all 3 of the ways of them to be able to communicate is all off.
They're on the wrong frequency. They haven't changed it for some reason. Something's off. The transmitters are off. Those should never be off. And both ACARS boxes are down. In the span of 5 goddamn minutes, this plane is off the map. They can't see it on the radar. They don't know where it is. They don't know what's happening. So, super fun. And here's another kind of like, this is also a very weird thing. So, fast forward a few minutes, around 1:30 a.m.
8 minutes later.
8 minutes later. Thank you. I can't. So, though it wasn't reported until 3 days later, this will come into play in a second. A secret Malaysian military radar they still had eyes on the plane. They saw the plane veer right. So they also saw the plane veer right 30 degrees. However, they were the only ones to see what happened. So after it veers right, soon after this, the plane makes an immediate left, like a goddamn 180 tailspin. Right, towards Malaysia, so away from the South China Sea. So they were still able to track the plane after that for about 8 more minutes.
Yeah.
Like you said, and then disappears at 1:30. They lose track of it as well. So they were the only ones that saw this goddamn, like, probably dangerous left turn. Like, you don't do that in a plane. Weird, right? Weird.
Very weird.
So, gets weirder. Ooh. Just when you think it can't, it does. So, from around 2:25 to 2:40 a.m., there is a fourth way that planes can be tracked, and this is through satellites. So, every plane has a satellite antenna that can communicate with the satellites orbiting the Earth, though the system is unable to give an exact location for the plane.
It gives like a general area, right?
Exactly. They basically ping off of each other every so often when the plane is flying. Just be like, I'm here. Mm-hmm. And they actually call the pings handshakes, which I thought was cute too. Because it's just like the two devices saying, oh, hey, what's up? Hi. So because of that, it just tells you it's online. It tells you the plane's still flying. And this was the only tracking device on board MH370 that did not fail. So, using these handshakes, engineers were able to calculate how long the plane stayed online. Very important side note. Very important. If there was an engine or mechanical fire on board, this antenna would go down within a few minutes. Eventually, engineers were able to determine how fast the plane had been flying while it was online. They discovered that MH370 had been traveling at a normal speed for 7 hours after communication had been lost. So the plane's still flying for 7 hours after it's off the radar. Right. It gets weird. It just gets fucking weirder. Exactly. My face too.
But they never landed. They never try to get back to their old frequency. They never try to get onto the new frequency.
Nope.
Any other frequency? They never turned back. Never found out that something was off and tried to turn it back on.
Nope. So imagine being air traffic control and losing a fucking plane full of 200
people.
Yeah, like 238 people. Again, in 2014, when there's all these precautions in place, all these tracking devices, fucking bonkers. So it was the being online for 7 hours that got me. I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. I don't know about that.
Immediately, this is screaming someone tried to steal this plane to me. But I'm like, for them to be going for so long online, they're online, but they're offline to
everything else.
They're on airplane mode.
You said they were on airplane mode?
When you're like, I just want to play this game by myself. I don't want anyone to talk to me.
New episode title, airplane mode.
You can't tell me that they ain't on airplane mode right now.
So, planes on airplane mode.
No one can communicate with them, but they still running. They still working. They ain't turned off yet.
Thank you for being a gift to this world. So, fast forwarding a few hours. 6:30
After the 7 hours? Okay.
Oh, yeah. After the around 2:45.
Okay.
Give or take.
Yeah.
So 6:30, the plane should have arrived in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
This was the time that MH370 should have landed in China's capital, but the airline stated that it was delayed. So essentially people were coming to pick up their loved ones and relatives, and they're like, hey, where's the plane? They're like, oh, don't worry, it's delayed. And people kept asking, they're like, it'll be here soon, because they're still trying to figure out what the fuck's happening. They're like, maybe you just got off course, but maybe it's going to be here kind of thing.
So I don't blame them. No one knows what's happening.
Yeah. they're hoping for the best, but I don't blame them being like, we don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just kept telling people it'll be here as soon as it can. Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I always get nervous picking up people from planes. I'm like, you never know what's gonna happen, if
Never know.
if they're gonna land or not.
Woo-wee. So 8 a.m. there is a public announcement of the disappearance. It wasn't until an hour and a half later that Malaysian Airlines officially announced that they had lost contact with the plane that night and that it was now officially labeled as missing. So, yeah, a little while later, this information was given to the public and they gave a statement.
Oh my gosh.
So,
but it's like, it's
things are going
understandable
great.
that, like, even though, like, you do lose contact with that plane for a little bit, like, it was, like, right when they were gonna do the handoff, so you're like, it's normal for us to lose contact with them.
Uh-huh.
But, like,
they have no idea where this plane is. They don't know what's going on.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right, so March 9th, 2014, a little less than 24 hours later, a full military search began, so they did this through satellite imaging, and they discovered that there was an oil spill in the Gulf of Thailand, and they're like, oh my god, this has to be the crash site, right? So they get out there, they're trying to find survivors at this point.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking. Oof. So, however, when they arrived at the location, they discovered that it was actually just oil that had leaked out from a passing ship. So that was, yeah, disappointing. Whew, so next day. Moving on next day. So March 10th, 2014.
That's my friend's birthday.
Aww.
I haven't talked to her in like 15 years.
Ooh,
that's a lie. I talked to her on like Facebook and shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're fine.
I'm kidding.
So,
yeah. March 10th, 2014.
2014. So the search area was expanded into the South China Sea. If you'll recall, because Malaysian Airlines, on their radar, they saw the plane veering right towards there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, through satellite imaging, they soon found what appeared to be debris on their maps. But when they went out to search, they discovered that what had appeared on the map was actually only a malfunction of the system.
Ooh.
Again, time is like ticking. So I can't even fucking imagine what that feels like. Oof. So
it's like everything is against them at this point.
Literally, like, it's ridiculous. So as more ships scoured the search area, those on land were looking into the passengers of MH370. So they're like, what's going on? We need to figure it out.
Yeah.
It was then that they announced to the public that 2 fake passports had been used to board the plane, and that both of these men were using the passports were Iranian. So there's as you can imagine, a full investigation was done. But they soon discovered that both the men were innocent and that they were in fact asylum seekers on the way to Germany. I know, I'm like, oh. Apparently they found this out because it was the mother of one of the men came forward and was like, no, my son is supposed to be here and he hasn't shown up. So, yeah. I know, we do. So it's now
like all the worst case scenarios, and it's like, maybe, but no.
Oh, it just gets worse and gets worse.
So now, like, okay, having like one tragedy and being like, okay, like that's like it happens, but now it's like that didn't even happen, and it's like, what happened?
What happened? Thank you. Big mood.
Because it's like that's like what you would think of immediately. It's like, oh, but like a lot of people do like have to like find refuge in that way.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So that was a big thing. Like back in 2014, they're like, had to be these guys, and it's like, actually, fuck you. It wasn't. So feelings on that. Cheers.
I'm like, I didn't put enough liquor in this coffee.
Oh, there's too much in this. That's fine. Together we make one whole human, one whole adult. functioning-ish.
adult.
So as you can imagine, again, time's ticking. Now, 48 hours later, things are looking grim. And you're
March 12th?
March
March
11th.
10th? March 11th. Okay, from the
Sorry, March
from
10th,
the flight.
March 11th, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, their chances for finding survivors, they're dwindling.
Yeah.
Yeah, not looking great. So, March 11th, 2014, a full 3 days after the disappearance, the Malaysian military finally came forward about seeing the plane on their radar and
That's
how
right.
it had made a left turn towards Malaysia before disappearing off the map. Though they said that they were reluctant to give this information as the radar was extremely high-tech and they wanted to keep it under wraps. So they're like, we saw them like go the fucking other direction, but we can't let the world know that we have this really high technology. Suffice to say, everyone was pretty pissed off because they're putting all their search and rescue efforts towards the South China Sea when actually the plane went the other fucking opposite direction.
And they're running out of time.
Yeah, can you 3 days later, can you imagine being a family member of someone on that plane?
Right? Knights of Cups.
What does Knights of Cups mean?
Knights of Cups. That one. Where did it go?
Yeah, so everyone's pissed because they had been searching the wrong, not only the wrong area, they've been looking in the wrong goddamn ocean.
So Knights of Cups, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to say charm, drama, and romance. Those are the 3 descriptives it has.
Curious.
Weird.
So
I like how I have a lot of wands. It has a wand of 7, and then the wand, 4 of wands, and 8 of wands, both reversed. I'm like, interesting.
What does it mean? Tarot. Okay, so everyone's mad, as you can imagine. I am as well. March 13th, 2014. 5 days after the disappearance, several governments got together and used their resources to search for the missing plane. But the odds were against them as the search area had been expanded to the size of the British Isles. And the part of the ocean that they were looking at was brutal and deep with countless underwater caves and crevices. So, really great odds against them.
Yeah.
It's looking bad. It's looking bad, buddy.
Yeah.
It's looking bad. So, for the next month, more governments and countries joined the search. And what followed was actually the largest and most expensive searches in aviation history. It included 26 countries, and it cost around $60 million. Wow. So, to their credit, they tried to find. They were looking.
Yeah.
They were looking.
Yeah.
But, so, by April 2014, the search had moved to the deep sea because they're like, this can't be floating anymore. Yeah. And so they started using submarines, but still weren't finding anything. So it's looking bad. And by May 2015, the search had been ongoing for over a year. And it was by this point that it was costing too much to maintain. And they haven't found anything. Absolutely nothing. And so they had to stop the search. Like, we can't keep going. Which, it makes sense at that point, I guess. Like, if you have not found anything, it makes it really tricky.
Yeah. But it's also crazy because you would think if it was still, like, if that plane had been online for at least 7 hours, you would see it on some other radar, wouldn't you? Except, was it because of the transmissions?
The transmission.
That makes it, like, blind from other countries' air trans...
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense. Because it's like, it's just crazy.
Fucking weird. It's fucking weird. So, yeah. By May, the search is over. Fast forward a month later, July 2015.
July 2015.
July 2015. The story does not end. No, my dear friend. So, over a year later, a few French beach cleaners, they were working on a small tropical island a few hundred miles away from Madagascar when something washed up on the beach. It looked like a large sheet of white metal that was about 7 feet in length. And after finding the item, they're like, holy shit, what is this? Could this be... Because everyone knows about the disappearance at this point.
Yeah.
So could this be part of the plane? So they contacted the local authorities, who then contacted the French government, and then investigators were flown to the island. So they're like, we gotta check this out. So upon investigation, they soon discovered that the piece of metal had a serial number. The serial number was the same as MH370's Boeing 77. It was part of the plane.
Oh my gosh.
After looking further, the investigators realized that this was a piece from the right wing, and it was actually the flaperon. So if you've ever had a window seat on a plane, you know that little part that goes whoop, up and down, whoop, 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 whoop. It's that part. It just helps with momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's coming in and out of the house at this point. Whew. So they find that, they're like, holy shit, this is part of the fucking plane. Later,
that part that also was damaged beforehand, before that flight. Just
you wait, baby girl. I'll just you wait. I like your intuition. You're on here. So later, in May of 2016, a year later, the right wing flap of the Boeing 77 was found near Madagascar in that same area. And then in June of 2016, a month later, the part of the right wing exterior was also found in a similar location. So they find the right flaperon, they find the right wing flap, and they find the right wing exterior. All found in like around the same place.
Interesting.
Looking spooky, yeah. So everyone was shocked that these pieces of the plane were over 4,000 miles away from where the plane had originally disappeared. So basically, they traveled the entire Indian Ocean in a year and a half. It's a fucking long ways. Like, it's weird. Kind of weird long. So, however, even at this time, those that have looked into the disappearance are suspicious of this evidence, as the pieces they found, they were all covered in barnacles. Now, that sounds normal, right?
Yeah.
No. The coverage of barnacles on every piece was uniform around all parts. This is abnormal. And later testing...
that makes no sense. That it would be all symmetrical, as if someone else put it on it.
Exactly. So, later testing showed that all the pieces were extremely buoyant, meaning that if they had truly traveled across the fucking ocean, they would only have barnacles on the underside where it was submerged in water, not uniformly around, because they did not sink.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Interesting.
So think back to when the plane had that small little incident on the runway, and how basically when a plane goes through that, in this case and a lot of other cases, you have to replace that entire part for safety standards and to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
So, when that happened, the entire right wing had to be taken off and replaced. So for reference, broken airplanes are taken to what's called an airplane boneyard to be repaired, and that's completely normal, all planes. And once back in shape, the damaged pieces are left until they can be recycled. And that's pretty standard because these pieces are really expensive. It makes sense. So theorists have proposed that government officials could have taken the right wing of the airplane, taken pieces from it, and then submerged those pieces in water tanks within a lab so that barnacle growth could occur. But they didn't think about how it floats. Mic drop. Boosh. Most theories, and me as well.
So it's like, what are they hiding?
A lot of people think that this is actually the Malaysian government, which kind of makes sense because if you think over a year has passed, they have not found anything. The family members of the victims are still needing answers. They're still saying, hey, what the fuck happened?
Exactly. And they're like, you need to take responsibility because we could have been searching for them and had much more progress if we started immediately, if you had confessed that this was happening.
Exactly. So there's not, and so everyone's on them being like, what the fuck happened? So they could
have... That makes sense if, like, the Malaysian government has so many people on them. They're like, we need to divert this
Mhm.
away from us as far away as possible, and took in these items to be washed up in the same place. Then people are like, oh, it came over here. Someone probably just hijacked the plane.
Yeah.
And it's not on the government anymore, which is interesting.
It's interesting. So they could have done that also to be like, to kind of provide closure and just close the case. Because it was still open at that point. They just don't fucking know.
And they're like, if you're finding these parts, it means that they crashed. They might not have survived. It gives them that closure,
something.
and then yeah.
So,
but
that's really fucking weird, nah.
So it's not like it's like rotating on its side, getting barnacle on each side.
Like nature is never that precise, never that symmetrical. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's
like if you had any part that wasn't from that right wing that was entirely replaced, I would say differently.
Yeah, but it's very weird how it's only the right wing parts.
A month after they stopped the search.
Mm-hmm.
It's too fucking suspicious.
Yeah. It's like they're waiting for people to stop searching so they can plant this to kind of get people out of their, you know.
So you're getting it. You understand. So
I'm always like, everyone is guilty of everything.
Everyone's guilty of everything. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. So I have a podcast.
It's who I am.
It's who you are. Incredible. So the next theory that is often put forth has to actually
aliens.
That is one of the theories. I did not put it in here though. I am sorry.
I'm just saying there has to be some sort of alien theory on this.
There is a big alien theory of this.
I know for a fact.
Y'all can look it up. I'm sorry. I was at my page max limit. I can't do that to you guys again. So
I'm like, you could have. I would have been like, you're fine.
It's fine. So, aliens. Next theory.
Okay. Let's get the aliens. Let's go.
Could have been aliens. Maybe we don't know. Question mark. So, one directly after aliens is it has to do with the pilot Zahir Ahmad Shah. Many speculate that he was in fact the cause of the disappearance and probable crash. This is due to the fact that Zahir's personal life had begun to crumble. A few months before the disappearance, he had started to withdraw from his family, and he spent most of his time using his at-home flight simulator, as I mentioned. His family commented on how his personality had seemed to change, and that he seemed like an entirely different person. This ultimately caused his marriage to fall apart, actually, and a week before the flight, his wife and children all moved out. So he was going through it. It was also discovered that some of the data from his flight simulator had been deleted shortly before the flight, though investigators on the case, when they looked into it, they officially concluded that they could not find anything suspicious about what was deleted. So it's kind of one of those things of like, what did he delete?
Yeah, it's like you're curious, but like, is it really going to be that important? Unless it was literally a route of which he was going to take to wherever. But I'm
apparently, some of it was that route from Malaysia to Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that would be more normal since he was going to make that flight. And he had made that flight there before.
Yeah, since he's done that so many times, like it might have been like, I just do this to calm myself because this is what I know, and this is just, getting more comfortable because it's just repeating that same process of it,
Exactly. So people were like, what the fuck did he delete? What's this? He had also become...
Judgment. Reversed.
I'm curious because people had said that he had also become depressed, and so when this disappearance happened, a lot of people were like, oh my god, was he the cause? But then a lot of other people came forward as well saying that he was a pilot of very many years of experience. Like, again, he'd been flying for fucking ever.
He seems like he was very dedicated to his job, and like he wouldn't just kind of
go off the deep
He,
end like that.
yeah, but like also with his life,
So it's
he could have.
tricky.
It's like it could have went many ways.
Yeah. Because like people also commented on how he was known for caring about his crew and passengers. Like he would do a lot of food
I feel
donations,
like
and he was very committed to people around him.
I feel like if things in his personal life was falling apart, like his support system would have been that pilot life, that
Exactly.
crew life that you have, and you're like, I gotta hold on and maintain this
Mm-hmm.
to keep that sanity in my life. This is what I know and what I'm comfortable with. This is the only thing I
Exactly.
have control of.
Boom, boom, boom.
But it could also go the other way.
Yeah, so it's tricky because a lot of people are like, he doesn't seem like the type of guy to knowingly take down 238 people along with him if it was in fact a
Yeah.
suicide mission.
Because like I feel like that would be more of a I have to go on a private solo flight just on my own and then
Yeah.
just do my thing, doing the thing I love. Like I don't think it would be something like this where he would. But we don't know what was in his mind, what was going on for sure.
Exactly.
We just know like some of the things that did happen through his personal life, but we don't know how he was reacting to it.
Mm-hmm. So just it's weird. It gets weirder.
Yeah. It gets weirder. I don't like that.
It's weird. They're on airplane mode. So
airplane mode.
lastly, one of the more interesting theories, and the one that kind of actually makes the most sense to me, is that MH370 was the victim of the world's first remote hijacking. Remember how you said, eh, eh, eh? So this could have been an electronic hijacking orchestrated by an unknown organization that used systems and programming already factory installed in the Boeing 777 flight simulator. Or flight management system, sorry.
I was about to say, how did the simulator have to go into this? Did he hijack his own plane? And was just like, I'm flying this thing, but I also gotta hijack myself. No.
Gotta hijack myself. Okay. So every Boeing 777 plane, they have just a flight management system. And this is there in place for a lot of reasons. Main one being if, say, someone's on board and they try to hijack the plane physically, this steps in and stops them. So it takes over the entire plane and kind of goes on autopilot.
Do you think it's like a reverse engineering kind of hijacking situation?
Yes, yeesh.
That makes a lot of sense. I would not be surprised because especially if they went off the radar immediately, they went askew right 30 degrees and then did a hard left, like. Because you would feel like if you're someone who is familiar with this flight, with where you're going, you wouldn't do such drastic moves.
No, so like this theory makes sense to me because where are they? You're right. It could have possibly happened if someone involved had access to the Boeing security system, in which they would have been able to take over the plane's controls via the Boeing uninterruptible autopilot. As I said, that whole system, which again is the thing that takes control of a commercial aircraft away from the pilot or flight crew in the event of a hijacking.
Yeah.
Though as of today, no terrorist group or other organization have taken responsibility for this appearance. And Boeing has also said that, like, not possible. You can't take over that system. But also, I feel like they would say that if you could take over the system.
They don't want to be responsible for what happened.
Just saying. Interestingly enough, notable proponents of this theory include former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. Weird, right? In 2014, he said, quote, "Clearly, Boeing and certain agencies have the capacity to take over uninterruptible control of commercial airliners, of which MH370 B777 is one." He's like, I think they could fucking do this. I said in my notes, double mic drop. Because
yeah.
There was also so there's also an electrical engineer named Mike Exner He had studied the case extensively, and he believes that, quote, during the turn, the airplane climbed up to 40,000 feet, which was close to its limit.
Yes.
During the maneuver, the passengers would have experienced some G-forces, the feeling of suddenly being pushed back into their seat. The cabin occupants would have become immediately incapacitated within a couple of minutes, losing consciousness and gently dying without any choking or gasping for air. The scene would have been dimly lit by emergency lights with the dead buckled into their seats, their faces nestled into worthless oxygen masks dangling on tubes from the ceiling. MH370 was now most likely flying on autopilot, cruising south into the night. So, if that was the case, what could have happened is when the plane was drifting to the right and then it's suddenly going left, that could have been from one of the pilots trying to take back control of the plane. Because normally you wouldn't make that maneuver because it is dangerous. And if it was already at 40,000 feet, 40,000 feet, if you made that turn, again, because of those G-forces and because of the altitude, it just knocks you the fuck out. So it would basically knock everyone.
Unless it was like that was the intention of the people hijacking it, so no one can call and try to fix things or overwrite it manually. So they would do that. No one would survive, and then they have a plane.
And they that maybe that's what happened too, because I don't fucking know.
We don't know.
So we don't know because like a lot of people are like, okay, if that was a hijacking, what would be the purpose?
It says Hermit. Oh, no. Hermit fell on the ground, but Hangman was behind it.
Bitch, what?
Yeah. Hermit reversed, and then Hanged Man reversed.
What does Hangman reverse mean again? Yes, I believe that...
ego, criticism.
Because I personally think like they could have been trying to take control and then trying to take that control back, accidentally done that left maneuver. And then if it was already on autopilot at that point, everyone in the plane would already have passed away due to lack of oxygen.
So,
that makes sense, but it's still flying for 7 hours after.
Yeah. So, reverse the Hangman can be a sign that you are too confident in a choice.
But I think that's the truth.
But I think this is like this. That might have been the situation with whoever was trying to like hijack this plane, and then with the pilot, if they were trying to fight back for control of the plane.
It makes sense. So that's the fucking weird bonkers mystery of the missing MH370. What do you think? Weird, right?
That was a ride.
That one was fun to research. It's like, okay, what the fuck? I watched like a lot of psychic interviews too, and I got kind of mixed results. Like a lot of psychics, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, were saying that they believed it was in fact a hijacking, but more specifically like a hit on someone specifically on the plane. And it kind of was like casualties of everyone else, if that makes sense. But I don't know.
But I'm like, was there anyone of that importance on the plane? It didn't seem like they would have been like, they would have cared more about that. But I feel like it was just like,
if I remember right, there were some dignitaries, maybe.
Maybe.
But like a lot of the psychic interviews I watched made it seem definitely more personal. Like, oh, you fucked me over. Okay, I'm gonna fuck you over, kind of thing. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I do not know. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of that's a mystery?
I think it was like a fucking 9. It was a ride. Like, there's so much to it that I'm like, what the fuck? I'm also very...
The transmitter's going, like, everything like the plane being gone in 5 minutes. That gets me fucking weird.
Yeah. That was just too much. Let me see. So let me just read off all the cards that I have that I called
Oh,
out.
I'm
Or not.
so I like this new segment we're doing.
I took a picture of it afterwards, so we can also like I'll send it to you. So whatever. But the first one I got was the Seven of Wands upright,
Okay.
and that I'm not gonna read the whole thing that this book has for it. I'm just gonna say Seven of Wands, being under siege, defiance, and challenge are the 3 descriptive words for it.
Huh. Okay.
And then I had Empress reversed. Where is my Empress? So that's going to be overdependence, self-harm, and creative block. And I pulled the Empress card when you were talking about the pilot.
That's right. Oh my.
So it is very possible that like he might have had a cause in it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were talking about the hijacking of the plane and like someone like remotely hijacking it, that's when we got the like when we were talking about him personally being in charge of like him
Like being the probability if that was real.
I got the judgment card reversed. Let's see.
Which is weird.
Yeah. I'm like, all these cards fucking crazy. Let's see. That one says negativity, being stuck, and self-criticism. So it's like a resistance to a new phase or a difficult time filled with self-criticism. Means you're hanging on to old ideas and standards that don't apply to your situation anymore. Indicator of imbalance. It's not about external, it's about how you need to give yourself permission to move on. Huh.
I'm so curious.
Yeah. As card 20, Judgment, even reverse, represents the near close of your current journey. Anyways.
Huh.
But then when we're talking about the remote, at the end of the theory for the remote hijacking, that's when I got the Hermit and Hanged Man, both reversed.
Both reversed, yeah.
And Hermit, as we know, is isolation, withdrawal, and anxiety. Going on the reversed Hermit.
And since he was withdrawing with his family,
I'd
be curious.
So it's interesting to wonder, like, if he possibly was in, like, had some sort of situation where he was working with someone who wanted to also take this plane.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, kind of a sprinkle of both.
Yeah.
But so then, yeah, because you're right. If that, if the hijackers were the one that made that left turn, knowingly doing it to try and incapacitate anybody else.
Yeah, because before that, I believe we were still talking about the pilot at one point. I got the Knight of Cups. And that's where the charm and drama and romance comes in. That's like the 3 descriptors I have for it. So it's all like he could have definitely met someone who's all like, let's hijack this plane. And take.
Do you think he got like double crossed?
It's very possible. Or like he was going through a tough time in his life.
He was.
Someone came by, it was all like, let's take care of this. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I like this new segment. I'm digging it.
This is now my job instead of doing research. I'm like, let me look at my cards. Yeah.
It works, that works.
Yeah. 8 of Wands, pacing yourself, delay, being overly busy. 4 of Wands reversed, disharmony, disappointment, unexpected setbacks. I'm like, the cards are saying that some shit happened and no one was happy. And then someone came along and took care of it, pretty much.
The plot thickens, my friend.
Yeah.
The Plot
Like,
thickens.
I definitely feel like it wasn't just one group, but it was definitely people met under certain circumstances that kind of led all of this to happen together.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers involved.
Like onion. Like ogres. Ogres have layers. Mystery has layers.
Cake has layers.
Cake has layers.
Anyways,
That
was
fucking bonkers. Let's see, can we pause really fast so I can go pee?
Yeah, I have to double check to make sure that all of my non-research is fine. So
add spice and pizzazz to our podcast.
Yes.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Ham wham bam.
Ham wham bam.
Episode we just released. I remember I was like, wake me up before you went to go, and you're like, Wham would be ashamed. And re-editing that, I was like, oh, they would be, wouldn't they? And I was like, ashamed of the cryptid. You're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Fine. But we're back. We're back. We got some food. I went pee. Realized I'm a little tipsy, and here we are.
Nice. I don't know if you saw, but I came back with my coffee liqueur.
I did not see.
This stuff. It's like the super cheap stuff.
Woo! Mine's the still the canned Moscow Mule, so it was in my fridge.
Nice. No,
and
but like
the tarot cards.
Yeah.
For the camera, for the fan cam. Look at
yours are so cute.
They're from a Kickstarter from an artist I really like. Like, let me see if I can find my favorite card really fast. But Are you gonna tell me a bedtime story?
Yes.
Fuck. Let's see, give me, is it paranormal, true crime, mystery, conspiracy, cryptid?
It is a true crime story that kind of relates to a story that I have already done.
We've done 20 stories.
Yeah!
I've done 20 stories. You've done 19.
That's because I always go second.
Fair.
This is my 20th.
So, okay, true crime. What era are we in?
I believe it is still late 1980s and 1990s. Early 1990s.
Is it one, do you think, that I would know?
I feel like you would have heard of this just because of the correlation it has with another story, but you wouldn't have gone too into details with it. Like, you probably would have heard of it from, like, other people.
Okay. I found my favorite card. It's the lovers.
Ooh, lesbians.
Gays. Lesbians.
The best kind of lovers.
Hint for dum-dum like me? Question mark?
The story is in Australia. The person has not been caught yet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They've only had a couple of abductions and murders connected to them. But because of their MO and how they have, like, operated, people have started to, like, kind of correlate them, or had not correlated, but some had suspected for a long time that they were connected to another serial killer in the United States who had recently been had recently been found after so long.
Wait. Fuck, I remember editing the one we just released, which was a Golden State Killer. You said there was ones down in Australia that they thought was him.
Yeah! That's
I know nothing. This is exciting.
It is such a bad story. because
Is this the one? No, that was Netherlands, I think. Continue.
this one is on Mr. Cruel. That's
Mr. Cruel?
He had
That's his name?
They also called him Mr. Cool, and then they went to Mr. Cruel because of the way that his victims were usually young girls. That's why. But like, it's not the greatest.
Doing great here, buddy.
Yeah. Why do I have a Snapchat from Alex? I'm not checking it. Okay. So, Mr. Cruel is, I'm like, why is my light so bright on my face? Is that just from like, what is
I'm
going
also in a
on
basement,
there?
so.
I'm like, I am white as a ghost right now. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense at all. I'm like, the lighting in here is ridiculous.
Like a Snapchat filter.
Okay. So,
I'm ready.
like I said, Mr. Cruel was an Australian serial pedophile rapist. He had attacked at least 3 girls in the northern and eastern suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria, in the late 1980s and early 1990s.
Okay.
And he was also the prime suspect for an abduction and murder of a 4th girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rough times ahead of us.
Right. It's not good. And like he still hasn't been caught yet. So like all of the not all of them, but the ones that are alive, like that they suspect, they're like in their 60s or 70s now.
Oh shit, so it's getting up there.
So it's like it is very possible for people to find out who done it and like get that closure, but it's getting harder because
yeah, we're getting up there. Oof.
Yeah.
That's rough, buddy. Okay, okay.
So pretty much like the name came from the media, Mr. Cruel. He has never been identified, and his 3 confirmed attacks and the suspected murder remains unsolved cold cases.
God damn.
Yeah. So as of April 2016, 25 years after the 1991 abduction and murder of the 4th victim, who they kind of are connecting, but they can't give enough evidence that she was actually one of his victims. But a lot of people, because like he's never gotten to that far of like actually murdering them until that 4th one.
Interesting.
But I'll get.
And that's the last one, huh? Usually, like it escalates from after that.
Yeah, usually that's why a lot of people had like this weird correlation with him and the Golden State Killer, because they're like,
that makes sense.
There's a time when he didn't murder people in California, but then there was murders there. But the victims were different. But the way he operated was very
similar.
Yeah.
Is this the Tricycles 2.0?
Not tricycles, sadly.
Oh.
It's more of like that eeriness of like how comfortable he was in their home.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Like if I'm in someone else's house, no matter how often I've been there, I am always uncomfortable. I am always like, am I fine to leave my shoes here? Should I just chuck them outside into the driveway? Like, is it okay if I sit here? Like, I always feel like that in every house.
Buddy, I'm sorry.
No, that's just me and my anxiety.
Big mood.
Yeah. I'm like, why is my face so white as I stare at my phone for my notes? Anyway, so 25 years.
Ghost in your house after all. Anyway.
Maybe I'm the ghost all along.
You're the ghost all
along. So 25 years after that 1991 abduction, the Victoria Police had increased the reward for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of Mr. Cruel from 100,000 to $1 million Australian dollars.
that seems like a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like,
or fucking not.
Yeah, because he was described as being like super smart because he
Ew.
meticulously planned each attack, and he was
I don't like that.
yeah. Because the thing is, like, it seemed he most definitely had like conducted surveillance on the families and the victim.
Mm-mm.
He had ensured that he left no forensic traces.
Really?
Yeah, like he's very meticulous about that. He also protected his identity by covering his face at all times, and he would leave like little red herrings. Like he would say like that this was like a robbery and that this is why he's doing it, or like he would act like he was on the phone with someone else or he was talking to someone as if like he was working with someone. But like it's like he was leading them on to think that there was another reason for why he was doing those things.
I don't like how smart he was.
Yeah.
Not feeling that.
And that's also like why people are like, sounds a lot like the Golden State Killer. And
yeah, because he was like,
he was also very meticulous, but he was sloppy at some points. But this is like later on throughout that Golden State Killer's like era. So like he could have, if it was him, he could have became smart enough to be like, I need to do all these different things. But
it makes sense, but
I think that like they said that it wasn't him, that it's not connected.
Yeah.
But like imagine if it was. It's crazy.
Like percentage wise it feels not as likely.
Like,
but I don't like another guy being super duper smart about this.
Right? Like the Venn diagram is very, very it looks almost like a circle, yet there's still
it's a Venn diagram, but it's still a circle.
It's barely a Venn diagram. Barely.
Barely a Venn diagram. Wait, no, 2 circles. It'd be 2 circles, not fuck. 2 circles, it'd be pair boobs separated. Not
oops.
Yeah, Venn diagram.
But wouldn't they have to overlap to be a Venn diagram?
You could just like separate them. 2 separate things.
Yeah, but like how similar they are. That's what I was talking about.
If you think about it, if it was one, it'd be the same guy.
Exactly.
Separate
That's
them
why
into 2 boobs. 2
but
guys.
I was like, that's why I was like, it was barely a Venn diagram because they're so similar, but so barely different. Barely different enough that they're different.
Boobs come in all shapes and sizes.
Boobs do come in all shapes and sizes. It's very true.
Welcome to our podcast.
Where was I? Anyway, so like he knew like the difference of when I have my phone up. Brightness. What am I? Like it's a good thing I put on eye makeup because like you would not see my face.
Thank you for this gift.
Yeah, so pretty much you would leave like little red herrings to like confuse and divert the attention of the police officers and from the family from knowing like what he was actually up to do.
Mm-hmm.
He was also apparently very soft-spoken and his behavior was unhurried, like I was saying, like similar to the Golden State Killer.
Weird.
He would often take breaks during an attack in a victim's home to eat a meal. Like he would go in there and like
motherfucker, really?
Food. Yeah. Like that's how comfortable he was in his situation. Like
I don't like that.
That terrifies me. Like
not a fan. Mm-mm.
You come into my house and tie up my whole family, and then you're eating a meal.
You make a goddamn peanut butter sandwich? I don't think so. No.
Like and then you eventually leave and like let everyone go, and you're like, but you feel so uneasy at that moment that someone was so comfortable in your house. I don't like it.
No, I'm not a fan of that.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And so usually he would also threaten his victims with a large hunting knife or a handgun.
Oh.
So those are his weapons of choice. And he'd also bring along like rope and stuff to like tie up people. Like he was very prepared for it. So Let's start with the first victim.
Okay.
So on August 22nd, 1987, in
87.
Lower
Okay.
yep, in Lower Plenty, a man broke into the home at 4 a.m. armed with a knife and a gun. And so there was the father, the mother, the son, and then the daughter. And so the man had tied up the hands and feet of both the parents and then locked them in the wardrobe. The son was tied to a bed, and the 11-year-old, she was, I believe, blindfolded and tied up, and she was raped.
Oh.
And then, like, he also, like, cut the phone lines, and, like, I'm
You
trying
got the
to,
phone lines? What the
Mhm.
fuck?
Yeah, he would do that so, like, they wouldn't be able to, like, call
I don't
or
like how
trace,
smart.
right? It's uncomfy.
Uncomfy smarts.
Yeah. Um, so he during that not case, but during that, what would you even call that?
Crime?
Yeah, I guess during that crime while he was committing it, like he said that his intention was pretty much just to rob them. Um and so like he like
Um.
had gagged them all, tied them up, and he took the girl into another room. That's where he raped her. And then I believe he also, let me double check here.
So I've drawn two cards so fast. First, when you're describing the guy, sort of got Hangman reversed, and now I just got Judgment upright.
Interesting. Interesting, because I'm pretty sure this man hates who he is and what kind of
Hmm.
person he
Hmm.
is, like to be this like perverted and disgusting. Um, let's see. Apparently, also during this crime, he then said he had to call someone and he insulted them over the phone, which is
Huh.
interesting. Like he like left the room and like they could hear him talking
He made
on
a
the
phone call
phone.
while. What the fuck?
Um, but like the police weren't able to trace it at all.
Oh shit.
And so like when the phone was like when they were able to go, because like he after Mr. Cruel would rape the girl, he would
Hmm.
usually be like, oh, like you can't leave until like after you count to 100, and then you can go and untie your family and like let them go and free.
This guy is confusing me.
Yeah. Um. So like when they were free, like the parents try to use the phone, the lines were
Yeah.
cut, and like they couldn't trace a phone call from within the house at that time. Like that, like as if like he did actually talk to someone on the phone. So it's like very
Huh.
confusing situation. Yeah.
And this is
And this was in 87.
87, so
Mm-hmm.
cell phones weren't super.
Yeah. So it sounded like he was using the
Hmm.
house phone, but
Oh, because I would have thought he would have cut it like right before the
he could
intrusion.
have. He could have. And like but he's making them think that he didn't.
How long does it take to count to 100?
I would say a long time if you're a scared kid.
That's true. I was gonna say like a minute and a half, but one, two.
I'm like,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I wouldn't like, cause like, I wouldn't know
you're
what
right.
to
You're
do in
right.
that
You're right. Yeah.
situation. Okay, let's go on to the next story. December 27th, 1988. So pretty much a year later,
Mm-hmm.
um, in Ringwood, Mr. Cruel had broken into the house at around 5:30 a.m. armed with a knife and small handgun.
Oof.
He bound and gagged the parents, demanding money, and then he grabbed their 10-year-old daughter, put tape over
Oh.
her eyes, a ball gag in her mouth, and abducted her.
Oh my god. What the
Uh-huh.
fuck?
Yep. Let's see. where. Let's see if I can get more info on that. So he abducted her and then released her 18 hours later on by like the Bayswater High School grounds.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. It was about 6 kilometers from her home near to a school. She was wearing a man's shirt and plastic bags. So she described being taken to a house or a flat and being assaulted. She also
Oh.
said her attacker had provided a sandwich and a drink, and another drink was later provided. And the thing is, I think when
Weird enough, so far this guy's like also the worst, but seems nicer than Golden State Killer.
yeah,
Like as far as manners go, I don't fucking know.
I feel like it's. I was reading on like an. I want to. What is it called? Like an FBI
Database? Not database.
no, like their
Case file?
no, how they perceive people.
Oh,
So they're the profiling.
profile. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
And like a lot of them would be like, he seems like someone who actually works with kids a lot. Like he could be working in a school
Are you
or
fucking
as like a
kidding me?
coach or something. Like the way that they have him profiled is like that's one
Let's
of the
see.
things that they
I'm gonna
think.
draw a
Of.
card. I got the Hermit reversed. I'm getting a lot of Arcana.
Interesting. But yeah, also like a thing that was very common when he would like molest and rape these girls was that he would bathe them afterwards, like wash off
Really?
everything off them and like
I guess
clean them
like
up.
evidence wise that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like it was very weird because he had a very like since he had a soft spoken voice with them, he had like this caretaker feel, but you're still very like it's just felt so wrong and violating in my head. At least I'm like that just doesn't vibe well for me.
Like with the Hangman reverse, I got isolation.
Mm-hmm. It's as if like he
It's weird. This is a weird
wanted
case.
this. It's like he wanted to be this person, like this caretaker, but he was never allowed to be, and so he's taking it out into a giant perverse fantasy of his own or something.
That would
I
make the
don't know.
most sense with the way he's acting, but oh, continue.
Right?
Ugh.
And then in 2 years later, on
Mhm.
July 3rd, 1990, in Canterbury, he broke into a house at 11:30 p.m. and tied and gagged 13-year-old. I'm gonna say their names, but this one had a name. He placed tape over her eyes, disabled the phone, and searched for money. Then he drove her to another house and molested her for 50 hours before releasing her at
I'm
a
sorry, 50?
substation. So over 2 days of he had abducted her and then released her. Yeah.
It
But
just gets worse. It just gets worse.
yeah.
Hmm.
But like he would do like the same thing with her. Like he like with like his like the like at the home, he would seem like all he wants is money or like make it seem like it's just a robbery or
Mhm.
that this is just like a desperate time and he just needs something and then just take the daughter and do these things. Like then you realize later on that this was actually his true intention.
Like he planned it all along, basically.
Yeah. When this suspect, or not suspect, but this victim, she,
Mhm.
I believe she was the one who was able, because she was there for so long, she was able to give a better description of the flat that they were at. Like
Oh, wow.
they were like saying she was able to describe that like the driveway was on the right side of the home, that there was one step to go into the flat, that it was
Mhm.
close to an airport, that there was definitely a camera there, so he was recording his crimes.
Oh.
Um
Good and bad. Oh.
yeah. And
Like good
so
evidence, but also terrible.
yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, so Let's see. I believe like with this one, he also like took their car. He always made it.
Weird.
I'm trying to remember and reread this because like he always wore a mask and like it seemed like he had like even like a stocking over that, so like you really can't describe his
Really?
descriptions. Like he was very, very meticulous about like making sure no one can
Very
find him.
careful. That's
Yeah.
spooky.
Um, let's see. Like he did that in all of the um crimes so far that I've.
See, I'm gonna pull another card.
Okay.
Got Ace of Pentacles upright. Let's see.
Pentacles is about money.
Says, yeah, beginnings, potential, new initiatives, emotions, feelings, relationships. Ruh-roh raggy.
Oof.
Oof.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, he's when he had broken into that third home. He's saying like he was robbing them. The father was prepared to pay, but like he didn't want that money.
Oh.
Yeah. That was pretty much like a smoke screen for like what he truly wanted to do, which is crazy. And then I don't know about that car. Oh, I think that the parents weren't home
Oh.
and that they came back and that their car was gone with their daughter, one of their daughters.
Oh, that's rough, buddy.
Yeah. But like the victim said that he had said that he was only going to keep her for 50 hours and that was exactly as how long that she was abducted for. But yeah.
I can't figure this guy out. Huh.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna draw another card. Let's see. Keep talking, keep talking. We'll figure this out, maybe.
Right? So, the fourth and last crime that they kind of connected but haven't officially said was his
Oh, really?
was
Okay.
going to be the abduction and murder of a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, buddy.
On April 13th, 1991, in Templestowe? I don't know. The male assailant, armed with a knife, had abducted the 13-year-old. And she actually went to the same school as one of the other victims from beforehand,
Are you shitting
which
me?
is
What?
interesting. Yeah. Her body was found with 3 gunshot wounds to the head.
Oh
A
my god.
Mhm. It was found a year later. It had been reported that a few detectives doubt whether this crime was actually Mr. Cruel, but we just don't know, and we can't be sure because there just isn't enough evidence to make a value judgment on whether or not it wasn't him in that
Do they
case.
know what the state of the body was? Like, was she wrapped in anything? Because that
Um.
sounds really. I'm trying to think how to like phrase it, like really cold. If that makes
Oh yeah,
sense.
it was very impersonal.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a gunshot and it's like the back of the head too. Let me
Like that
see.
feels off. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing is, that Mr. Krill would say that his freedom was more important to him than their lives. So that's why, and like when he abducted the 2 girls beforehand, they didn't take off their blindfolds
Uh huh.
while they were bound to the bed in his flat. Like they were able to like peek through sometimes and kind of see and kind of like figure out their environment, but not they never risked it.
That makes
It.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we can't know for sure what happened with this last victim, but it's very possible that she had taken off her blind, or she had seen who this criminal is,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably why she didn't survive. Like that's
That's so
like
sad.
I feel like she was definitely a victim in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See, I'll pull a card.
yeah.
I got the sun. I got the sun upright. This is weird. Let's see.
What a big ego.
Seriously.
Um, so she was found near a landfill site and creek. Um, let's see. Others think it was an execution, probably reminiscent of a military style of execution.
Huh. It says symbolizes the success of the conscious mind in overcoming any obstacles or fears of the unconscious, usually through attainment of knowledge. So
Hmm.
she could have. I think she. Yeah, you're right. She could have figured it out. Maybe that was that tipping point.
Yeah, a lot. That's a big theory on like why like this was connected, and the reason why she didn't survive is because she saw
Mm-hmm.
who he was. Um, when they found her body, medical examiners had suspected that she had been dead for at least 12 months. So it could have been like early, like she might have also had that time frame of when Mr. Cruel was going to keep her, but
Mm-hmm.
because she saw he killed her and then waited to dispose of the body.
Oh, okay. Because I was trying to figure out if like she just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't found in that landfill for a while, but that would make more sense if he dropped her body off. Unfortunately,
Yeah, and that's
later,
the thing
had she,
because like
were they able to tell if she was like frozen at all?
it didn't say.
That's fair. Because I'm just thinking like, how do you keep a body for 12 months? That feels
Yeah, unless like his flat or wherever he had her was like very isolated.
that makes sense.
Because the thing is, they said that it was close to a sound. It sounded like it was close to where
An
the
airport.
airport was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that
Okay.
would also like not too many people live super close to airports because it's usually pretty loud.
That's true.
Um, but I don't know.
Mm.
We're not sure exactly. Um,
Oof.
but yeah, those were the four crimes that are very connected to him.
I still can't believe he didn't leave any DNA.
Yeah.
It's too methodical. I don't like it.
Yeah. Um they had a lot of suspects for it, but nothing that was like concrete that they could like actually like go in with, which is the sad thing about it. And I feel like for Mr. Cruel, like he knew that like this kind of went over the edge and like he needed to lay low or else he would probably like trip and like be caught again or be
Yeah.
caught.
That's what it's seeming like because usually I say, if you're doing terrible assault like this and then,
Because usually it's a very pride and ego thing of like, I can get away
yeah.
with so much. Like, let me just push my limit. But it seemed like this situation's all like, oh shit, she got too close. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
stop. And it's like, at
See.
least he stopped, hopefully. I don't
Yeah,
know.
hopefully. Let's see. Queen of Swords upright. Let's see.
Queen of Swords.
Complexity, perceptive, clear-mindedness.
Mm.
So logic, ideas, intellect. So that could be like that snapping of like, probably shouldn't do this again because I will get caught.
It's like it's probably like his intentions were never to murder, but
That's what
like,
it seems like. Like terrible either way, but
mm-hmm.
yeah.
But it's very.
So I don't think it's Golden State Killer personally.
Oh yeah, no. Like
No, that's different.
like The victims are very different. It has a very similar like MO ish,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same person, I think.
No.
Like the people he's going after are different. Like the way that he still like returns these people. He's not playing like he's not mind fucking these
Like
people.
that was the part that kind of shocked me, honestly, because I can't think of another case where I've heard of them saying, "Oh, I'm going to keep you for this long," and then actually
Mm-hmm.
returning them.
Yeah.
Like I that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Huh.
Let me see. So
I'll
maybe
keep talking. I'll pull one more card. Curious.
I don't want to read like the whole thing I have on like the copy of the profiling that the FBI had done.
Because if he works with kids, that would make sense, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um So, like the following information is offered for your consideration for release through the media. Based on our research and investigative experience in similar cases, we have found the following characteristics and traits to be present in such offenders. One, he is a functional individual who has a steady employment, is generally regarded as a good neighbor, polite, quiet, somewhat introverted, but may be involved in certain community-minded projects. He would typically live in a single-family residence, one with a garage or a carport.
Interesting.
He may not live with someone. If he does live with someone, they were absent from the residence during the critical time spans of these offenses.
Mm-hmm.
4. If involved in a relationship, the partner would be aware of sexual dysfunctions on the part of the offender. The offender's sexual arousal and gratification would be dependent upon the partner's acting out a certain role, dressing in a specific manner, such as a schoolgirl in uniform, etc.
Makes
5.
sense.
Those who work around or with the offender would notice a change in his behavior after these incidents. The offender would have trouble coping with the event and would be likely to miss work immediately after the event, or if he did work,
Ah.
would be preoccupied and display an inability to concentrate on the task at hand. He would appear rigid, distant, and somewhat incommunicative. Incommunicative? That works. Um, 6. His normal routine would be disruptive during the immediate after the offense. Those close to him may note change in his use of alcohol or drugs. And number 7, in the offender's mind, there is no intent to harm the children. The incidents are sexually motivated and represent the culmination of a number of psychosocial factors unique to the offender.
Yeah, that's what it's seeming like to me.
He has a rich fantasy life which manifests itself through the use of commercial pornography. Yeah. It definitely doesn't seem like it's a violent thing. Like unlike the Golden State Killer. Like
Yeah, his was definitely
it's very ego and violent.
motivated as
Mhm.
such.
Number 8, in general, the offender appears normal and above suspicion to those around him. This ability has enabled him to keep from being identified to date. Number 9, the offender will also read this article and, in all probability, attempt to change or control the above behaviors. He will not, however, be able to change the past and will have inhibited these behavior patterns previously. His attempt to change his behavior will result in him appearing more rigid and over-controlled. Number 10, regardless of the ultimate fate of the victims, the offender will experience a great deal of stress, which he will not be able to control. The stress will manifest itself in the aforementioned manners and behavior.
So he said that I pulled the Three of Cups, which is friendship, community, and happiness. So he probably was definitely. I'm thinking like pillar of the community type.
Oh, definitely.
So it could be like a social worker with kids,
I can
like
see
probably
that.
at risk kids,
Yeah.
which would definitely be a. I would think like him getting like a weird power trip.
Yeah.
unfortunately. I know.
Let's see. I'm gonna read some stuff from above. They believed that it's more probable that the offender resides in that same area around where those people had lived.
Mhm.
It was believed, in view of the fact that these incidents all occur during school holidays, coupled with the offender's use of a school uniform in the third assault, we suggest that there is a high degree of probability that the offender is involved with the school. I didn't even realize that they were
Mm.
around holidays.
Oh, wait,
But you could,
really?
yeah. So they all took time, like they took place during like school holiday times.
That would make sense. It's like think of like school counselor kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that the third and fourth victims came from the same school.
Did they ever look into that school at all?
I know that they had some suspects that were like teachers, but there was nothing that was conclusive for them to like to make an arrest on.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah. The offender has an intense interest in children, especially in the age range he is assaulting, which was between like 11 to 13,
Yeah.
11 to 14.
Young.
Yeah. Way too, those are baby ages. Like,
They're baby ages.
oof. Like, they're so tiny and
They're so
naive
tiny.
and impressionable. Yeah. He will spend a great deal of time with these children and what appears to be a selfless dedication to the students.
Sorry, I just
Parent, Mhm.
just pulled a Seven of Swords. That is deception, trickery, and turning a blind eye.
Ah.
I'm thinking school counselor.
I definitely worked in the school. Definitely
Like
was part of.
definitely was able to get trust.
Hmm.
That makes me mad.
And like, he definitely knew how to like work with students in those high stress situations. Anyways, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very uncomfortable.
Ooh, a little alcohol. Ooh.
Oof. Well, that reminds me, I have alcohol in my coffee.
Oh God, jeez. That's.
This is cold.
I'm sorry. It's like mixed feelings because a lot of these cases don't obviously turn out that well. You feel
Yeah.
so it's like I'm glad he was only.
I'm glad
Or
it
it's like
didn't last
yeah.
longer. I'm glad that it seems like he stopped. I hope that he
I
did stop.
hope he stopped. Like awful what he did in the first place, but because like I don't like
I
be
hate
in
that he did.
comparison, but like you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like it could have been worse,
Could be worse. There we go.
but it's still fucking shitty. And if I knew who this person was, I would stab them in the neck with a fork. I would stab them in
Can I
the fork.
join? Can I
Yeah,
join? Okay.
maybe with a
Stabby stab time.
yeah.
Can I go in with like a dull knife? Can I do that?
Yes.
I'll do that. Let's see. I'll pull one more card for this motherfucker.
He doesn't deserve his cards to be pulled,
I know. I'm sorry.
but it's fine because it's interesting. I like how his cards very much correlate with the kind of person that he is and how the FBI have also perceived him to be.
Guys, tarot's real.
Tarot is real. They told me this year I wasn't gonna have a girlfriend, but like it lied. I was still a hermit though. I'm still a hermit. So it
Still
might
a
have just
hermit.
been
I'm sorry.
we might have misinterpreted instead of being like, oh, you are gonna get a girlfriend, but you're still gonna be stuck at home because of the quarantine.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You're right. Jesus Christ. See, so I pulled. I pulled Two of Cups upright.
Isn't that like a choice? Like there's two choices in your life. I thought.
Yeah, it's like unity, partnership to become one.
You have pretty much a choice in between, like a choice in your You're
That's what it's
facing a
seeming
choice.
like. So I think he definitely chose to lie low, maybe bury those feelings. I don't know.
Yeah. To pretty much try to become one with the community again and not do that kind of
Mm-hmm.
shit. Because it definitely feels like that. Like he definitely had, like after that fourth victim, after she sadly, he had those two choices in his life. It's like, am I going to continue to do this and risk being caught, risk losing my freedom, losing
Mm-hmm.
everything in my life? Or do I have to figure out how to stop and just become a giant pervert like I am already?
Because I think he would like try and repress his actions to kind
Yeah.
of like do daily life. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? I don't know. Spooky.
Because, like, they did say that, like, he had a camera and stuff. So he definitely had, like, he was definitely using that
Yeah.
and, like, had his own perversion for what he wanted and needed. But maybe
Oof.
he was able to find another outlet throughout that. And I don't know.
Bad all around. Cheers. Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. It's strong. Whew. That was such a good story, though. Oh my god. Like,
Thank you.
it's, it's so confusing, but like also makes sense. I don't know. Like, you feel.
Yeah. I'm just like, why is he so shitty? But I hope he gets caught. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Seriously.
there has been some suspects that have already died, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, I hope that because they're like in their 50s, 60s, 70s right now,
Mm-hmm.
60s or 70s, um, and like they don't deserve to live peacefully after what
No.
they've done. Like, I don't.
No.
I think that they should suffer for what they've made those
Big
people
mood.
suffer through.
Big mood.
Mm-hmm.
You feel?
Yeah,
You feel?
yeah. Also, I'm really glad I wore eyelashes because I can't stop staring at my eyelashes right now. I'm like, oh no.
Big mood. Big mood. I understand. Those eyelashes are very pretty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See, I'll pull. What? I want to pull one more card, but what should I pull for? What? Do you have a question? Do you have a question for us and our
How
listeners?
how is our week going to be?
How's are we going to be? Okay, let's see. Da-da-da-da. I'll do 3 cards.
Mm. Past, present, and future in the solution.
Are you guys enjoying our new segment of it's quarantine and we're doing tarot now because gay witchcraft?
It's it's very much how I felt when I was trying to get my package, and I was like, I hope it arrives.
I need my gay witchcraft. Okay. Well, one second. There we go. Okay. Me and V have different ways of shuffling, which is really fun. I get very like it has to slide in a certain way, and I'm like, it's done. We're good.
I'm more like
Yours seems easier.
mine. Like if I'm doing like a card reading specifically, like if I'll like actually like I'll shuffle like this, and then I'll do like the card shuffling,
Mhm.
like
I'm so bad at shuffling.
like the thing and the.
The thing. Okay, let's see. Da-da-da-da.
But like if I'm just like having a conversation, I'm like letting the cards just read itself to me, like come out to me. Then I just do like the simple hands shuffling and wait for whatever card comes out.
Which is smart. I like your method.
I'm
Okay,
like, I feel like
I'm going
it's
first.
very intuitive for me to be like have a conversation with someone and just let the cards come fucking out.
Let's see. Sorry, one second.
I'm like, your cards.
Pentacles.
I got strength. Look at my little.
Aww.
I'm like, is it strength?
And then let me read my last one. Okay, so for the 3 card spread, I got first the Hermit reversed, then the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and then the High Priestess upright. So essentially, the Hermit reversed as we've all been. Self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
The Knight of Pentacles seems to be, what
The
did it say?
Pentacles is usually about money, isn't it?
Yeah, so reversed, it was it's a laziness, obsessiveness, and work without reward. So that's where we're all at right now. Super
Sounds
fun.
accurate.
It's a lot of questioning of like, what are my goals? Can I accomplish anything? Is it worth it? Is the world gonna end? So that's where we're at
Right.
currently. So future is looking like
You said High Priestess? Upright?
Intuition, unconscious, inner voice. To direct your will outward, one must also be able to understand one's internal word. The High Priestess is the guardian of unconscious and beckons the traveler to the world with it. Thoughts on that?
So, I have a hard time just kind of like getting all those words to like make meaning after I hear them.
Because I'm feeling like it's sort of trying to think how to word it.
It's kind of like
listen to yourself. Maybe travel. I can't tell if it's.
I feel like it's like follow your intuition and don't hesitate with whatever is coming in your way kind of situation.
So kind of use this time to find inner strength, I think is what it's.
Yeah, it's like
meaning.
Don't dwell too much on what's going on. Like just go with what feels right.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone needs to see this the Hermit card, what it looks like.
Aww. I love her.
High Priestess. Like she's pretty.
She is pretty.
What did you get for your spread, my friend?
I only got 1 card throughout that whole conversation. I'm just trying to see. Intuition, unconsciousness, and mystery. All I got was the strength card.
So we're in tough times, but we need to be strong, y'all.
Yep. And I got that while you were shuffling your cards. I think it was just being like, we just need that strength to follow our hearts and our intuitions, even though this is tough times.
Tough times indeed.
We just gotta kind of go with the flow and not let it get us down.
Yeah, I think being strong with ourselves, but also being kind to others. Let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how while we recorded, it got hella dark in my room.
Got hella dark. I went from like
I was a ghost to now
you're a ghost.
Almost tell I'm brown.
It's okay. My face just got redder because alcohol. It's fine.
Aww.
It's fine. Well, my dear friend, do you have a song request for this week?
A song recommendation?
Every fucking time. God.
Oof.
Me too. I'm like looking through my songs really fast. If I choose a Selena song, will you help me pronounce it? Because I'm shit at pronouncing everything.
I can do my best, but I also do not speak Spanish that well.
Fair.
Who was I listening to a lot?
Because my favorite Selena song is El Chico del Apartamento 512.
Oh.
Cinco Doce.
I mean...
Got shitty white person pronunciation. I'm sorry.
The Boy from Apartment 513. Was that it?
512.
Chico del Apartamento 512. El Chico del Apartamento 512.
That's my song reference. That's my favorite Selena song.
50? No, I think that's 50. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I'm just Peruvian.
Fair. That's fair. See, I can't even roll my R's. My mom can.
I can't either. I'm a whole like I don't know what went wrong. Like everyone else in my family can roll their R's. everyone else can speak Spanish, and I'm just like, ¿Qué? ¿Qué pasó?
I had a lisp as a child. Can I use that as an excuse?
Me too. I had a speech impediment.
I don't.
I'm like,
And we're like, hey, let's do a podcast.
right? We're like, yeah, we can do it.
We
And
both
if
had
we can do it,
speech impediments as children.
if we can do it, anyone can do it. Can I do Bailando by Enrique Iglesias? It's not Hero, because Hero is always my song recommendation.
Your boy Enrique Iglesias.
Mi chico. He was like one of my first loves. Like my bisexual awakening was him and Jennifer Lopez in the Selena movie.
Okay, fair. You said her bisexual awakening was Enrique Iglesias and Jennifer Lopez in the Selena movie. Alex shook her head. She nodded yes.
I'm like, it's very accurate as a Hispanic bisexual. Like, that sounds about right. Like, Enrique Iglesias would have been my first concert.
That's right. I do remember you telling me this.
But I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, you were little.
And my dad was like, no, she's not going. And my mom went without me. And I was like,
well, I can imagine this little 4-year-old be crying, Enrique.
Mi novio. ¿Por qué? He was the love of my life.
Perfect. Do you have any parting words of advice for our dear listeners?
I want to say, because for me personally, this whole week, or this whole month, this whole time in quarantine, hopefully by the time this episode's out, we're out of quarantine.
Big move.
But with how people are acting outside, protesting, and not being at home and quarantining themselves, we're going to be in quarantine for longer.
Y'all, please stay inside.
I know this is a hard time for a lot of people, and I'm just
we get that.
And I feel like personally, because I've had a lot of problem with that, I feel like even if you think that they don't want to hear or have you reach out to them, please reach out to someone and talk to someone and be there. Like, if you need someone to listen to you, if you are just going through a hard time, like, reach out, please. Like,
I
any
promise.
of us, or to your friends, like, anyone, like, please reach out and, like,
100%
make that connection, because right now it feels like we're so alone. And it's difficult to even try to, like, talk to someone. And, like, I have a fucking big ego. I hate talking about my feelings and thoughts, but, like, I still had to reach out, and, like, I feel so much better about it. And I'm like, I know a lot of people are having a hard time finding someone to talk to, but, like,
y'all can talk to us. We're chilling. I promise.
I'm like, I'll do my best to listen and be there.
Yeah, y'all want to do like a video chat with us, and we can do fun tarot card readings and talk about cryptids. Sounds fun to me personally.
I'll get drunk and talk about Vor if you really want me to.
Yes. Oh, we can all watch BuzzFeed and Salt together. Let's do that too. Aw.
That'd be great.
If you guys need anything, we are here and we are queer.
We are very here and queer, especially
if
you need someone to talk to about that in itself. Like, if you're stuck with homophobic family, or like,
I'm a fight.
Yeah, like, and you need someone to talk to, like, we're here for that. Like, we get it. Like, it's tough. And right now it's probably harder than before, like, without being able to get your escape outside of the home.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, there's a lot of places and resources that you can reach out to someone. Like, just email us, talk to us.
Yeah, hit us up
us.
Can get in touch with us at tipsymysteries@gmail.com. You can hit up our Instagram, our Twitter, our
Facebook.
That's a thing. I made us a Twitch account.
Yeah, we can start using our Twitch account. We can do an Instagram live if we want. I don't know how to do that.
I need to figure out how to do that for both of us.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Twitch, to like a split screen or something. I don't know.
We could also do that too. Like, we can figure something out. Stream on YouTube or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we could do something. We can figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. So, yeah, we're here for you guys. Thank y'all for listening. You guys
Yeah.
are thebombdiggity.com. Let us know how you guys are, if you guys like this screen recording.
Yeah. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure my quality does not look good.
Oh, dude, you're totally fine. So I know
like
my
my
sister was
computer is like
saying,
7 years old or 10. I don't know.
looking graceful, looking majestic. My sister's saying that she needs to watch stuff for her brain to better understand it, which I get.
Yeah.
So if y'all like watching stuff more, here we are. Here we are. I don't have any jokes on me. Maxie, wait, Abby told me one. What do you call an alligator in a vest?
What?
An investigator.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Have a good time. Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Bye.